Keys to your success lie not only in the details, but in your confidence. I was somebody who rarely applied myself, and I was happy with making a C. I rarely made A's or B's to improving myself, working on my confidence, and being able to graduate as a registered nurse and pass my state exam, the NCLEX, in the least amount of questions. And at my last job, be promoted within 45 days. I discovered that you have to get the knowledge, friend, but a lot of it is being confident in yourself, being confident in your abilities. And like I said, in that last job, I was the seemingly youngest person in a leadership position at my job. It has to do with confidence, because you have to be confident to lead people. You have to do the work, and doing the work and knowing the work allows you to be more confident to not only lead yourself, lead others. And that, I think people can see that. And that is probably what got me my promotion. I'm not even saying probably. That is what got me my promotion. And I would even be on the unit sometimes. And I, like, initially when it happened, I could just sense people kind of being like, oh, she's, young, or whatever the case may be. But like, after meeting me, talking to me, having to work on an issue or troubleshoot something with me, being able to pick up on that I was not only young or, had a degree, but I was also confident. And I was confident because I was capable. And those things go hand in hand. So let's talk about how you can get there, because like I said, I was somebody who was happy with the C, friend, who rarely made A's, who ended up passing my registered nurse exam in the least amount of questions. And I'm saying that to say, like, you don't have to have proven yourself to have, like, arrived at where you want to be. So today I want to share with you some practical steps, like some things you can do to increase your confidence, and some things that I do and have done that have increased my confidence, that have helped me as a person, as a woman, as a mom, as a wife, and as a colleague, as a professional. And I want you to be able to do these things because it improves you, your peace level, your joy, and your happiness. And that trickles over into the people that you love, the work that you love, and it increases your money, it increases your self confidence, and you're able to do more. And so let's get into those tips today. So I have them in like a small, medium, and large. So I had to face my fear of rejection, and it's uncomfortable. Okay. To it's uncomfortable. You have to get uncomfortable. And I think confidence lies in being okay with being uncomfortable. And once you survive that, you know that, like, okay, it might be uncomfortable. I might not know, but I'm confident that I can get through this. I can find a solution. So here's the thing. I had to face my fear of rejection. And the simple, small way you can do this is by doing something new or doing something challenging for you each and every day. For me, that was simply speaking. There's so many times we walk past people, and I don't know if it's a fear of rejection or we're so busy or whatever the case may be, is we don't put ourselves out there and say, hi, how are you? Have a good day. I'm good to see you, whatever the case may be. And I started doing that. That's a small thing that you can do, but it makes you more confident. It makes you more comfortable. I used to have that fear of rejection where it's like, what if the person on the other side doesn't say hi, or how are you, or good morning back? What if they think, like, why is she speaking to me, or she's got something in her teeth, or whatever the case may be. Here's the thing, and I'm going to tie this to an example that I share with my kids. So I'm a stay-at-home mom. That was my most recent goal, to become a stay-at-home mom so I could homeschool my kids, and I was able to do that. I've got a new goal now, which, side note, is to upload a video every day from now to the end of July. But anyways, back to my story. So as you're raising kids, or I was raising my kids are like watching TV and whatever. They're like, becoming their little selves. And my son and daughter started to like superheroes. And I think we all do, because I mean, if you look at Marvel and like all the things, there's superheroes everywhere, and we can all like identify with some kind of superhero, whatever. My kid was talking about superheroes. And I remember this day we were going into the post office, and he compared himself, I could feel, because he was like, I don't even know how the conversation started, but he was like, I'm not a superhero, or I don't have any, because I don't have any powers or whatever. And I was like, no, sir. I told him we had gotten out of the car and we were on the sidewalk at the post office. And I was like, look at me. You are a superhero. You do have powers. You know what? You can save someone's life simply by saying hello, smiling at them, and letting them know you're glad that they're here. And it's the truth. Because guess what? If you're at an event or at a banquet or at church, or I don't know, wherever you find, at a birthday party, wherever you find yourself, and you tell somebody, I'm glad you're here, you are, because did you want to be there by yourself? No. And that can mean the world to somebody. You don't know exactly what people are going through. And just by you smiling, that can remind them that, you know what, the world is a good place. There are good people. My presence is valuable. It's necessary. So that's an example of And something I take with me, because I remember that conversation and telling him, reminding him that, like, no, you have powers. Like, I know we make it all Hollywood, but powers are real. You have them. And so that's something that I took away with me as a why I greet people, a why I smile, or why I say hello, good morning, good to see you. That can seem like a small thing, but you have to overcome your fear of rejection to do that, because just because you understand the power that you have and your mission, the person on the other side could be having a bad day, they could be having many thoughts, or they could simply not want to speak back to you. But you have to get confident. That's going to increase your confidence, because you're not going to fear rejection. You're not going to fear their response. You're going to do it anyway. And that's a small way that I was able to boost my confidence. And you can do this right now. You can do it every day. And I promise you, it seems silly, but once you become comfortable with the uncomfortable, you can move on. You can tackle the more challenging things that are ultimately going to get you that are ultimately going to get you the desires that you have. Something else that I would do to boost my confidence and help me develop into the woman that I wanted to become was figure out who I was. And if I didn't know at the time, like as a younger woman, you're coming in between that stage of you're out of high school and you're now trying to find your career. And sure, you've got an apartment, you've got a car, and that gives you a sense of pride. But it's important to figure out who you are. And sometimes, a lot of times, we don't know who the heck we are, and that is okay. Develop an identity, try some things on. That could be joining, like starting a dance lesson. And this is personally for me, because although I'm confident now, I really want to try like salsa dancing or tango or something like that. I want to take dance lessons, but sewing lessons. I learned how to sew at my first job, and my mom used to sew and make merchandise and sell it. And I begun to like lean into that, because like I said, in my first job I learned how to sew. My mom sewed some, and she was able to sell and sew and sell her merchandise. And I leaned into that when I was developing who I wanted to be. I liked sewing, I liked creating. So I just leaned into who I already was. And sometimes you can lose yourself when you are becoming so serious and you're having to take care of responsibilities. You forget to have fun. And so what I did was I leaned back into the parts of myself that I liked, which was sewing. I started to teach myself how to sew new things, get patterns, learn from YouTube. And I ended up taking a sewing class. And it was fun. You meet people, you mingle, you learn different things. But I would suggest finding out who you are, trying new things. If you don't know exactly who you are, what you like to do, like I said, I feel pretty confident now. That is going to probably take like a back seat, or my confidence may decrease a little bit, especially when I go to take that salsa or like tango lesson, because I haven't mastered that yet, and I haven't mastered the footsteps and whatever. But in those areas that I do feel comfortable and confident, I am thriving and I'm happy. And that helps you. Having a personal identity and understanding who you are helps you. And that's totally fine. If you don't know that yet, it's actually quite fun to figure that out. So, sewing lessons, cooking lessons, which sounds really fun, because you might be a person that likes to cook and cook meals for people and just get your meals together. Soap lessons, like I saw at my local flower shop, or what is it called? Oh, a nursery. They offer, not only to have all the beautiful flowers, they have gardening classes, they have soap making classes, and there was something else that seemed pretty interesting. But there's so many classes that you can take. You can, like, those skills that you learn there, they're going to make you more confident, because you're doing something new. You're discovering if you like this or not. You're going to be meeting new people, and you're going to have to put yourself out there. Anytime that you start to do something and your confidence level is not there yet, it's natural, you're going to feel scared. But when you do it anyhow, and you try and you're successful, either in meeting new people, trying something new, or being able to simply know, no, this is not me, I'm going to try this. That's going to help you know who you are. And once you know who you are, you will be naturally more confident. Like I said, I never really fully committed to something. That's why I was happy making C's and had rarely made an A or a B. But that changed whenever I started being more committed and confident, and holding myself ultimately accountable. And I applied to nursing school. I set a goal. Now, getting to the end side of that, where I took my nursing exam, I registered but something is flying on my head. I don't know what it is. But anyways, getting to the other side of that, where I graduated nursing school and took my NCLEX to become a registered nurse and pass it in the minimum amount of questions, that was on the far side. Before I ever got there or thought about how many questions were even on the test, I had to start with making a commitment. And so the next thing I will suggest is make a commitment. And, it might be something larger. I don't know if you've gone to school or if you're considering going to school, but that whole process helped me to become more confident in myself. there was not a lot of eyes. Maybe there were eyes on me. I don't know. Or people judging. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to that. But what I paid attention and leaned into was the commitment. I told myself, hey, I want to do this. For whatever my reasons were, I wanted to do it. And so I followed through on that. I followed through on what the application process looked like. I followed through on whatever was on that application, completing those to the best that I could to be able to be accepted, to doing the interviews, to making the purchases necessary, and for showing up consistently to class and to extra study assignments and to clinicals and all those kinds of things. And that ultimately led me into becoming a registered nurse and passing that exam in the least amount of questions. And so doing those bigger things that you desire to do or who you desire to be. I don't know what that might look like for you, but that process for me becoming a nurse had so many pieces to it. And the fact that I consistently stayed committed to it, there might have been some classes to where, I got really serious when it came to becoming a registered nurse. So I don't even remember making very many B's, but like I said, I did the best that I could. Whatever the application process looked like, I did that to the best of my ability. I filled that out the best way. I paid attention to, was it going to be blue ink or black ink, or did I need to type it? When was the submission deadline? And all of those things ultimately helped me to build my confidence, even when it came to maybe studying or things I didn't quite understand. I did it to the best that I could. And when I had areas that I needed to improve on, I looked to people who were stronger in those areas, or developed a group or a habit, a ritual of studying to be as successful as I could be, no matter the challenges that I faced. We actually ended up having our first child, maybe right before, not maybe, it was right before my last semester of nursing school. I had never, like I said, made A's before, and I had certainly never seen anyone in my immediate family become a registered nurse, let alone expect a child and all of the things and surprises and nerves that come along with that, and still stay consistent with the process. And I did that. But before I did it, I didn't know what that would look like. I didn't know if I would be successful, but all I did was I made a plan. What do I need to do? And I completed that to the best of my ability. Is there an exam that I need to be prepared for? How early can I start to prepare for that? Is there anything I can do ahead of time? Making preparations. And that didn't look like all of the rest of my classmates. A lot of them, maybe none of them, were expecting their first child, right? So their process was going to look different. So I had to complete that portion of my semester the best that I could and make the preparations the best that I could. And I ultimately ended up being extremely successful. But keeping those commitments to yourself, that's why I say too, it's going to look different for every single person. My journey looked different, but what I did was I tailored it to myself, and I came up with something that I could be committed to and I could be accountable for. That looks different than my classmates at the time, but I developed that system that would work for me, and I worked my butt off. And guess what? I was able to finish successfully. And all those things helped me to increase my confidence. So if you're looking for ways to become more confident, to unlock those dreams that you have for yourself, I hope these practical tips have helped, because they are the truth, like they're the honest to God truth of what I've done to improve my confidence. And that has led to the things that I want. Like I said, graduating nursing school, losing weight. I wanted to become a stay-at-home mom, so I could homeschool my kids. I wanted to own real estate and create generational wealth. And I've ended up purchasing real estate and managing real estate. And so what I'm telling you is all of those things that I wanted, I hadn't done, and I certainly had not seen close quarters yet. But that did not mean that I wasn't able to access them. I have new goals now, which are to upload a video every single day from now until the end of July. And this is a perfect opportunity for us to work together, to be motivated, to be consistent, and to hold ourselves accountable, because we will. It's not if, we will get our dreams, we will get our desires if we stay committed and focused. Cheers to you and your success. I'm so proud of you because you're already on your way. If you're interested in a complimentary consultation, be sure to visit my website, notanotherperfectmom.com. Scroll to the bottom of the website and you'll see a short form, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.